Now, so we're still talking about anwa'ul kalam, right? We said anwa'ul kalam means what? It means the types or kinds of speech. Um, and the first, we talked about kalam. We really went enough in details explaining what kalam means in linguistic, not both linguistic perspective as well as from the grammatical perspective. Okay, so these four words are quite important. The number one is loved, which you can translate as kalima, right? But what did we say? This one has utterance, right? Then we talked about murakkab is composed, mufid. These words are comes all the time. Mufid, these words comes all the time. Now, and bilwad, we explained that it is something that understood or used by the Arabs. Then we talked about aqsamuhu, its different parts, and then there are three of them. So we said ism is basically any word that is independent and doesn't have any time. And the fail, doesn't matter if you translate ism as a noun or not, that is something that you have to deal with. But as far as the Arabic word is concerned, it doesn't care about your adjective. It doesn't look from that perspective. Only thing it cares that a word that is independent and it doesn't have any time connected to it. And the fail is same thing, is independent word, but it does have a time. And we talked about different times and make sure you learn those words, you know, al-madi, hadir, or hal. Then we have mustaqbal. All of these words, guys, you have to kind of get used to memorizing some of the terms here. And then we talked about harf. Harf is basically that it doesn't stand. It is not independent word. It needs either fi'l or ism. Right now, so inshallah, I think we have spoken enough about all of these. um, just want to see if I made something. Okay, this is nice. So just to wrap things up about these two concepts, we can do this exercise. So it's basically اقرأ الآيات القرآنية الآتية ثم استخرج منها ثلاثة أسماء وثلاثة أفعال وثلاثة أحرف. Okay, so here he's using the plural. There's two plural for harf. So don't get confused, okay? Harf has two plural. One is ahruf, the one that he's using. Another one is huruf. As far as I know, guys, there is no difference. But remember one thing, in Arabic language, sometimes there are difference, but that the reason why I'm saying it, I don't recall any difference. For example, just to give you a note about these things, bait. What is bait? Bait is house. Who knows the plural for bait? Hmm. Anybody here knows what's the plural for bait? Buyut. Yes. So we have buyut. Uh, buyut. Now, buyut is the plural for bait when the meaning of the bait is house. Okay, this is something you know me. Sometimes I give you some side notes. Inshallah, they help you. So the buyut is a plural when the meaning is house, but bait also can mean a verse of a poetry. You know, the verse of Quran we say ayah, right? But the verse of a poetry we call also bait. Now the plural for that bait will be abiyat. Abiyat. Okay. So plural, you understand? So this bite has a two plural. Depends on what this bite means, your plural will be different. So that's why, as far as I know, I don't think this is the same case. I think the harf, they probably, if they mean here, I have to double check. If they mean here, this huruf is means from the grammatical perspective, then sorry, ahruf is grammatical perspective. Then the huruf has to be from the letter perspective. But guys, I really think both of them are same. جيد. So basically, they want you to extract. Istakhraj is a very good word. I think you will see that a lot. To extract. This is a verb. So when I write to, think about its verb, but I'm not telling you exact meaning because this is a command verb. Now, so some of these things, the problem with the verbs, guys, some of these things, inshallah. I don't know. I'm still thinking when we will be focusing a little bit more about the verbs, because as I mentioned, the book doesn't teach you verbs. I have to pause and take a time to teach you some things about verbs. Okay, so you have to extract 5 nouns and 5 verbs and 5 particles. So from here, it's very difficult to see for sure. Probably I'll just quickly go over them. So iqra would be a verb. So here we have rabbuka. What about wow? What do you think? And you know what? I'm just gonna go one by one, and you tell me what is iqra. That would be much better. You can just give me a letter initial like V, N, I don't know, P. So yes, iqra is a verb. So this one will be iqra. Then we have rabbuka. Now, if you are coming, this concept should be. I hope it is clear to all of you. Uh, how many words we have in here? Believe it or not, we have 3 words. We have wow, and we have, yes, we have a rab, and we have kaf. So now you give me wow. What about rab? What parts of speech? Noun. Yes. So rab is noun. What about kaf? And kaf is also isim. See, if I say kaf is noun, some people will get confused, like because they'll say no, it's not a noun, it's a pronoun, right? So you see, that's why we kind of have to use the terms isim here, right? And we have al akram. What do you think? Okay, isim. Yes. So today's lesson will be super important, guys, and you will see that why you have no choice. You have no choice looking at this word to think other than ism, even if you never know what this word means. So inshallah today we'll talk about this one, inshallah. So inshallah the other ones you can do yourself. I think it should be very fun and simple. Right. Okay, I'll just warn you a little bit about this ma here. Anybody want to take a guess what this ma means? Yes. So that's good, Sister Noria. We're gonna be talking about this one, exactly what it is. What does, first of all, the ma is a very, very complicated, guys, in Arabic language. Ma is very complicated in Arabic language because it has tons of meaning. So this ma, as Sister Farhan is saying, it can be both harf or ism based on what is the role of the ma. So for the beginner student, it is one of the very frustrating things. I know I used to get frustrated, but you have to know what this ma is doing. If the ma is just making a negation of the past tense, then it is harf. So for example, you say, dhahaba, he went, right? And you want to say he didn't go. So what do you say? You say ma dhahaba. At that time, guys, the ma is harf. But ma can come as other places. Like even in the question, what? That time ma is not a harf. It is ism. And here the ma is actually demonstrative, actually has a relative pronoun here. So inshallah, don't dwell too much about this thing. It's still confusing. But the lam you should know it's always harf. Okay? Lam will be always. Ma is a big, ma depends. Here, if somebody asks you what is the ma here, then it's definitely going on ism. Although you want to feel this, it looks like a harf, right? It feels like harf. Yeah, guys, it's definitely issue. Inshallah, this thing will be very, very clear as we get a lot more used to this type of ma. Jayyid. So, okay, so I think we're done with that. Now, so if you guys don't have any more questions, then we will be starting with a new idea. Now, what the author will be start mentioning about how do we recognize something that is, because we have 3 parts of speech, but the author will try to explain, is there any way we can recognize whether something is, it's basically the same thing, what exactly the exercise that we were doing here, right? Exactly the exercise we're doing. Now, the question is there any sign, is there any way we can identify if something is isim, fi'l, or harf? Because guys, in Arabic language, every single word you can think of, you can categorize them put them in one of these three containers. Every one of them. Is it acting as a verb? Is it acting as a noun? What's going on, right? So that is the idea. So just like we did this exercise, if we had this knowledge, inshallah, then you will see that exercise is piece of cake. You cannot make mistake on that exercise because it will tell you how you can identify something that is noun. Another thing is that even if you don't know the meaning, can you identify them? So I'll read this thing and let's see, inshallah, then we'll translate word for word, and then we'll go into explanation. Today we will do more than one line. That's our goal. So inshallah, we will try to cover this whole thing. So now let's translate word for word. Fal ism. So the ism is, fa is a so, you understand. Fal ism yu'rafu. It is known. Okay, this is a passive voice. It is known by what? Al khafd. Now, before I explain the khafd, there's a few things you have to know. Basically, khafd and jar is the same thing. I'll explain to you these things a little bit clearly. Khafd, my handwriting. Khafd is exactly same thing, jar. Now, why there's two different words? Because in one of the days I really want to talk about, how the whole thing about Arabic language, how it developed, and all these different schools of thought. Maybe one or two lessons. I find them very fascinating. So a lot of these things, how did this whole grammar things come about? Is it something that we got it from? It's a very interesting topic to actually talk about. But here, what I need you to understand that in Arabic language there are two big schools of thought. In the fiqh, you have Hanafi, Hanbali, Maliki, and Shafi. In Arabic language, we also have two big school of thoughts. One of them is Basri, and one of them is Kufi. People of the Basra and people of the Kufa. Okay, so I don't want to, explain this thing too much here, but some of these ideas will be important when you see some of the difference. One of them is here. So people of the Kufa, they call the jar as khafd. Okay. And the people of the Basra, of course, they say jar. So by seeing this one, you already know Ajrumiyyah is what? He's a Basrian or he's Kufian. He's from the people of the Kufa. Okay. So that's why he's using this term. Now, uh, there are some difference between their ideas about these two schools of thought, but only thing you need to know right now, inshallah, one of these days I will give you some interesting talk about this thing. One of these things you have to understand right now, that the Basra right now, all the grammar rules that we understand, we study, almost all of them, this comes from the people of the Basra. They used to have fight, like literally verbal war, academic war. They used to go back and forward, like it was a really, really crazy, and that's kind of helped us because of their competitions. Just like I always say that when the Apple and Google, they compete, who wins? We win because we get a better product, right? So that's why when they were fighting together, then the uh, scholars of the language, they were pushing themselves to get these ideas and write them down, and all of these things happen. And that's how we have Sibawayh. He wrote the book Al-Kitab, and then finish. The case is closed, the war is finished, one big sword, Kufa is dead. So simple as that. In the grammar book, I don't like to use this term, but that's exactly what they say. They say the Al-Kitab is the Quran of the Arabic language. Okay, so this is very interesting story behind it. Anyway, that's what it is. So what happens now? So the author here is he's from the Kufa, but this book doesn't have anything outside of something that standard. So that's why that's not a problem. But you will just find maybe one or two, maybe a few other words. You will see a little bit difference. Okay, so I don't even want to use the word khafd anymore, because I don't think other than this book you will come across this. So it is, just think about jar. Okay, you understand? So now that we understand what khafd means, it is saying then ism is known by what? Jar. Good. So If I say jar, what does come to your mind? What do you think about jar when I say jar? Kasra, yes. Guys, think about that. When we say jar, the thing that you should be start visualizing is kasra. And you will see why this is important, okay? So the ism is understood or known by what? Jar, which is kasra. What tanween? And the tanween, okay? So you understand tanween, right? Inshallah, we'll go all in details later, but let me just quickly translate them here. وَدُخُولِ الْأَلِيفِ وَاللَّامِ, and having or being entered upon what, or having, just think about having alif and lam, al. Okay, so basically he's defining how do we recognize an ism: by kasra, jar, by tanween, by alif and lam, and it says huruful khabd, again huruful jar. So what is huruful jar? How do you translate huruful jar, harful jar? What is the translation in English? That you guys should know. No, harf is yes, preposition. Harful jar is your preposition. So when I say harful jar, what am I saying? I'm saying preposition. This is how you translate in English. So that means to, in, these are all harful jar. You have ila, is the author is going to give you all of them here, okay? So the list that author gives, as far as I know, there's only one maybe word, there's a dispute, but this is a complete list. So this is very interesting. The author give you all the prepositions that we have in Arabic language. So if you memorize them, you are good. You're good. Where is it? Alam. Okay. So what are they? What are the prepositions? What are the harful jar or harful jar? We have ila. Okay. Ila. Ila is what? All of these, here's our, you will see now where this discussion comes. Why did we have to go through explaining what is harf? Why, you will see why it comes, why is it important right now? Because harf, we said it doesn't have a meaning by itself. The meaning will be clarified by what? By having a noun or the verb. So when we give a meaning to any of these harfs, think about, this is just one of the meaning, most commonly used ways, okay? So the word ila is, most common translation would be to. We have a mean here. Mean is from. I think the Tuhfatu Saniya, the book, it gives you a very nice definition or the meaning of some of these things. If we have time, inshallah, we'll read them. And an, what is an? Anybody know what an is? Nobody knows. An has two meanings. One of them could be about, another one is from. Yes. Now the from, you can think about this from and this from, there's a little bit different. This from is, inshallah, I will see more example. It could be about and it also can be from. And then ala, what is ala? Ala is, of course, on. Okay, and fi is in. And rubba, what is rubba? Anybody know what rubba? Rubba has something like perhaps. Perhaps. What is ba? Huh? What does ba do? What does it mean? With, yes. So ba would be with. Okay, again, remember all of these can have many more different kinds. We can have, these words can have different meanings, but we're just giving you the most commonly used meaning just to get started. Kaf. So kaf is, this is a letter kaf. It has like, yes, it is, the meaning is like, when you compare something, he's like a lion, you're comparing him with the lion. So this kind of comparison is like, yes, as, like, as, that's also good. Okay, good. So then we have lam. What is lam? When it's a lam, I'll just give you haraka. Is a ba, it means b. So you have a kasra with the ba, and the kaf, it means ka. Okay, and then lam, we have li. Inshallah, I think we will see example of all of them. If not, if you need some examples, you can ask me. Yes, li is 4. Good. Right now, I'll just write a simple translation, and then inshallah, when we go to the sharh, and then we'll see more examples. Is it clear? So we have min, ila, an, ala, fi, rubba, ba, kaf, and lam. So these 9 huruf, because they're what? Huruf, they're particles. These are called, what kind of particles they are? Basically, they're prepositions. Okay, so this is a very good list. If you memorize these things, inshallah, you will not get confused between which one is prepositions and which one is not. Okay, so it's a very good list, and these words, guys, super duper duper important. You have to know all of these words. Then it says, then we have another types of particles, which is huruful qasam, the letters or the particles of what? The oath or swearing. Okay, swear. So what does it mean? For example, when you swear, you'll see it's here. They are al-waw, al-ba, again it's b, what the, with the fatha. Okay, wa, bi, and ta. Now, as you can see, you might be a little bit confused. Inshallah, I think some of these things we will have more discussion. This ba is here and this ba is here, but they are not the same thing. It is very difficult, especially with the preposition and then the harful qasam is very difficult to find out which one is what, but the context will tell you. Is this ba is coming as a meaning with, or the b is coming in the meaning of with, or the b is coming in the meaning of qasam. What are, how do we deal with this? What's the difference between all these letters of the qasam? Inshallah, something that we will study when we go to the sharh. Okay, so any questions so far? So as you can see, it's giving us a guideline. Basically, how many guideline it gives us? One, which is the kasra. Second, it gives tanween. Then it talks about what? Alif and lam. And then it's what? What is it? Then it says harful jar, preposition. So this is your fourth one. And then it's also, now, some people might combine all of them in the same category, but we can separate them. We can say then this is your separate type of alama, sign. Okay, another word you will find is alama. Alama, what is alama? Alama is sign. How do you explain sign? So for example, what is the sign of that he is happy, this kind of sign? Okay, clear? No, I haven't seen anyone uses ta marbuta as a sign of noun, and I'll tell you why. But from Arab's perspective, the problem is, it's a very good question because it always bothered me. You're thinking just like me, but I'll tell you why. So for example, this ta marbuta, it's true that ta marbuta, if you say ta marbuta, you know what, we can add this one as a 6, but I'll tell you why they never use that as one of the sign. You can say the ta marbuta is one of the sign of noun. Definitely you will not have ta marbuta other than noun. So this is a very good way to identify. But the problem why they don't say the ta marbuta is a sign of a noun is because the Arabs, in their mind, not in our mind, we see completely difference between this ta and this ta, but they don't make a distinction because they call both of them ta'ut ta'nith. Ta'ut ta'nith. Ta'nith. They say both of them are feminine ta. Now this ta is definitely comes in the verb. So now, we can see the difference, but that's the problem. Okay, so that's why they usually tend not to use like that. But for us, I think it's a very, very good tool. Okay, it's very easy for us to understand that ta marbuta is definitely if you say ta marbuta, guys, it is definitely your noun, no doubt. And I would like to use, I would like to add that, by the way. So I think we should add number 6 is ta marbuta. Good, very nice. Jayed. So you see what the author is trying to do, and right now obviously he's only giving you signs of the nouns. I think that's the only thing we'll do today, and then of course he'll give us the sign of the verb and then harf. So now let's see what the sharh explanation is saying. So this is the mumti'. Uh, it's not that big. Maybe we can quickly read through them. Definitely, we cannot translate. I cannot translate word for word. But if there's any word that I think you should know, I will tell you. You should know this word. Okay. So it says alamatul ism. See that word alama. So this is the plural. Alama. Okay, I just give you alama is the singular, and the alamat is plural. So the signs of the noun. So this part we already read. This is what the Ajrumiyyah, and this is what the Ajrumiyyah was saying, right? So we'll just go right to the Sharh. Sharh is the explanation. So he says, Lamma farag al musannif. You're following? This is where I'm reading from. Lamma, by the way, when I read, I'm just reading just so that I'm not missing something. And if anything interesting, I will definitely explain to you. And if is there any word that I think you should know, I'll also explain. Okay. So, don't get too overwhelmed by all of this reading. لما فرغ المصنف من ذكر أقسام الكلام, when the author, okay, musannif, this is the word, I'll tell you which word you have to pick up. This word you have to know. Dhikr is also a good word. Is when you mention, dhikr has two meaning: something you mention or something a reminder. Okay, and aqsam, we also had this word already. Aqsam. You see how many words we have seen, and kalam is we already know. So when the author mentioned the parts of speech, shara'a fi bayani alamati kulli qism. Then he began. Shara is to begin. Then he began bayan. This is a good word to clarify. Bayyana or bayyana, these words comes in the Quran also. So bayan is to clarify. So he began clarifying what the signs of every qism, every part. So after he finished talking about the different parts of speech, and now he started talking about what? He started talking about the signs of them. How do we understand? فَبَدَأَ بِالْإِسْمِ. So he started with the what? With the ism. وَذَكَرَ لَهُ أَرْبَعَ عَلَامَاتٍ. Can see this word and this word has the same roots, and the meaning derives from one from another. Here, dhikr, we said when he mentioned, now ذَكَرَ is coming as a verb. So he mentioned arba, 4 signs. Okay, so how many signs did the author give us? He gave us 4 signs how we can recognize something that is noun or not. إذا وجدت واحدة منها في كلمة. Okay, so let me translate. إذا وجدت, if you find واحدة منها, one of them, في كلمة, in a word. Okay, so he's saying that he's going to give you 4 signs. If you find one of them in a word, أو, or رأيت أنها تقبلها, that is the problem. And you will see this issue, this issue will have more problem with the verbs, and I'll explain what does it mean. So he said that the 4 signs that he gave, if you find them in any word, if you see those signs, you can see them, you can identify them, or that's the problem, ra'aita, and you see annaha, that it's taqbaluha, that it accepts it. So either you see those signs or you know that they accept those signs. Arafta annaha ism, then you know this is a noun. So now the issue will be, if we see those signs, if we see tanween, alhamdulillah, we know that it's a noun. For example, we say Muhammadun, guys, noun or verbs or anything. We see noun, we say tanween, so we can safely think it's a noun, because it says tanween is what. Tanween is one of the alama. It doesn't matter if it's tanween of dhamma or fatha. It doesn't matter. It's tanween. We can see it. It is noun. But we have sometimes problem when some of them may not accept it. So you have to know whether it accepts or not. So this is where the trick is. How do you know it? It's if you don't have the language experience. honestly, this thing will get a little bit tricky, especially with the verb. The noun, we have a many tools. The verb will get trickier, inshallah. But that's what he's saying. So even if, for example, he's saying, even if this word doesn't have anything, is bite. Do you have any of the signs? Do you have kasra? Let's say it says, okay, I'm going to break this one down in for different reason. Uh, let's say it's part of idafa. Okay, so right now you're looking at the word bite. Does it have alif lam? No. Does it have tanwin? No. Does it have, the brother gave us ta marbuta? No. Does it have alif lam? It doesn't. Does it have kasra? No. It doesn't have anything. So that means it's not a noun. Huh? So how do you explain the concept? He's saying, if you see it, alhamdulillah, you know it's a noun. But or you know that it does accept one of the sign, then it is your noun. So now if you look at the bait, you know that bait can take alif lam. You know you can say al baitu. You know you can say baitun. You know you can say baitin. Now you know that it is your noun. So this is will be a little bit frustrating, especially as I'm mentioning for the verb, but that's what they're saying. But as I said, for the noun, inshallah, I think it's gonna be very easy. We'll more or less find one of the 4 signs or 5 signs, or I think we have 6 signs. Is it clear, guys, what he's saying? That you either you see them or you know that they accept. Then you know this is a noun, right? So now he starts giving one by one. إحداها, one of them is what? Al-khaf means jar, right? One of them is jar. It says وهو عبارة عن الكسرة. See, this is an expression which is a kasra. Like you just express this one by a kasra. التي يحدثها العامل. Okay, here's another word I have to explain to you this word, because this word will come in Arabic grammar way too often. We have this whole book and science about amil. The plural is awamil. Um, so this part is clear. It says it is an expression of a kasra. Then it says allati, which yuhdithuha, which it occurs by what? Amil, by an amil. So what is amil? The linguistic definition, so we have amala, to work, and we have, this is something called active participant. So when you have amala and we have amil, what does it mean? If amala is to do, what would amil mean? It is something doer, yes. Just like you have a kataba, this is again, these are all come from the morph class, the sarf class. So one of these times, either after we finish Ajrumiyyah and then we can do a sarf, or maybe sometimes later. Right now, I don't have any plan. I don't have time. Inshallah, we have to take sarf seriously because it's very important. It will help you in the beginning. It might frustrate you, but it will definitely help you. And you will see a lot of the words in the Quran you cannot translate, sometimes for the grammars and sometimes just because of the word. The word that Allah choose, it has multiple deep meaning. Jayid. So we have kataba. Kataba is to write. He wrote. And what is katib? Huh? Katib is a writer. Okay, so that's the linguistic meaning. So you have amala is to do, and amel is the doer. But here the way the technically the way the amel word is used is something active worker, something that is something that affects a grammar of a word or the sentence. For example, just let me give you an example, then you will know exactly what it means. If I say the word is, you guys all know the rule of the harful jar, right? Because remember, this is not completely beginner class, that I have to assume something that you know. The book is assuming a lot more things that I am assuming. Okay, but you should know. So we have a al baytu. But what happens when I say fi? What does happen? Huh? Somebody help me out here. I added fi. What happens? Yes. So I have to automatically say fil baiti. Now the question is, why did you do that? Then the answer will be the fi. Then fi is the amel of this thing. Yes, fi is harful jar, but the fi is the one, the amil, the doer, the thing that is causing this thing to happen. Okay. Yes, it's for the jar, but somebody will say, for example, the question, then you will know what the amil means. The question is, you can say two ways. You can say, okay, the fi harful jar is making kasra. But what if somebody says, what is the amil of this kasra? Then you have to say fi. You see, the fi is the amil, meaning somebody, the word that is having a grammatical impact on another word. Makes sense? Because the reason why I'm spending a bit more time, I don't know if I clarified this thing, but this word will come often. So here the fi is the amil. So for example, if I'll give you another example, this one I don't know if you guys know, but these things will come. We'll be studying about inna a lot. So if you're inna, it was Allah, for example, because this word is important, guys. That's why I'm trying to get this thing out of our head right now. Allahu, let's just use Karimun. Allah is generous or kind. Okay. So we have Allahu, right? It's simple sentence. Allah is generous. But when we say inna, what happens? Huh? Somebody should know. I know there's some brother and sister took class with me. Yes. Inna Allah. But don't worry, if you don't know this topic, inna, we will spend tons of time in this book. So don't worry about that one. The reason why I'm giving these examples so that you understand this word. Now, if I say, what is the amel of this fatha? What are you gonna say? Inna. So you know that is the meaning when we say amel. When we use the word amel, that's what we mean. What word? What was the word that impacted? So which is the action? Which is the doer? See, it has the doer thing here. So what is the doer of this change in the grammar? Okay, is it clear, guys? Inshallah, I think as we move, it will be more clear. Now, so it's basically saying that one of the amil which makes into kasra. Okay. Nahu, and then you have example. uh, Give you example. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Perfect example to give, right? So we have lots of noun here. So for example, this one, uh, because there's alif is missing here, but it is noun. Yes. Why? We see a very clear kasra. Allah is a noun. Forget about any other sign. We found our one sign kasra. This is a noun. Ar-Rahman, we don't have to care about anything right now. We see a kasra. This is definitely our noun. Ar-Rahim, it is noun. Again, I'm keep on saying noun. I should be saying ism, because of course, Rahim, this would be your depends on how you look at it. It could be an adjective, and it also could be name of Allah. So is it clear? So that is what the author is trying to say. If you see a kasra, then it is your noun. But here, guys, you will know what's the difference between the Ajrumiyyah and Alfi ibn Malik. It's because they go a lot more in details, and they will always bring an exception. There will always be exception on almost everything. Okay. So, but right now, honestly, I'll be really honest with you. We don't have to go to those exceptions. Okay, so I'm just telling you because I think when I was looking at it, there are some footnotes where the other authors tries to clarify some of these things, because this is a very simple way of explaining, but it is more than sufficient for us. Honestly, more than sufficient. Those exceptions really usually comes in the poetry or some other context, and if some of them that comes in the Quran, inshallah, um, we will mention in some other time. But at least you have to know the basic context. Is it clear now? So here says fakullun. So all mean ismi si kasra wallahi. All of these things they are saying is noun asmaun, which is a plural of ism. Why li wujudil kasrati fi akhiriha? Because finding or having kasra on its ending. So this is our first one. Now, so is it clear, guys? Simple stuff, but that's how I'm keep on telling you guys. There's always, in the simple class we never go in details like that. That's why these classes are a little bit different and interesting. In the beginning, you might think, it's moving slow, which is fine, but trust me, they go a lot more interesting stuff, which might be a little bit challenging. So we have to pace ourselves. The second one is what? Tanween. Here, look what it says about tanween. It says, huwa ibaratun an dammatain aw fatatain aw kasratain. Very, very simple, like, beginner 101, extremely simple, naive definition of tanween. When you study Alfi ibn Malik, inshallah, one of these days you will study, you will see how much you have to know about tanween. Okay, so it has many different kinds of tanween. It has, as far as I know, there's a four major category of tanween, and then two other types of tanween. And some of those tanween can come in the verbs. So it gets complicated, right? So this is, I found it very interesting after reading Alfia. But I think the other book says a little bit more. If we have time, by Muhammad Muhyiddin, we might go here. But for us right now, only thing what he's saying is good enough. We have Dhammatain, we have two Dhamma, we have, by the way, this word is Dhammatani. Look, Dhamma, what is Dhammatani? Inshallah, we'll do the duals in this class, but I'm pretty sure some of you probably know. Yes, two Dhamma. But why saying Dhammatani? Because of harful jar. It has to be in majrur state. That's why. Okay. So sometimes when I see people randomly just say fatatain, dhammatain, it's, I find it funny because um, it's fatatain, dhammatain for different reason. Anyway, so two dhamma, two fatha, and two kasra. That's all the author, at least this book's explanation, wants you to think of tanween so far. And I don't blame him. That's good enough. So anytime you see double of dhamma, double of fatha, double of kasra, then the author is saying this is your what? This is your noun. And then he gives an example, nahu, qawlihi ta'ala, saying of the Most High, wujuhu yawma idhin khashiyah. See, wujuh. So what is this wujuhun? We are saying wujuhi because of the tajweed rule, right? So what is wujuh? Anybody know? This is a plural of wajh. No, no, no. It's wajh. Wajhun is face. Okay, wajhun is face. So wujuh is the plural of face. Wujuhu yawma idhin khashiyah. The faces on that day will be really, really humiliated. So I'm not going to translate everything, but right now I'm just showing you something. Here is another thing. So we have this tanwin here, and we have a tanwin here. If these two tanwin are not the same, this tanwin is a completely for different reason than this tanwin. Okay, so but as long as he's saying, as long as we have tanwin right now, we are fine. Okay, then we have tanwin here, amilatun nasiba. Okay, tanwin, tasla naran hamia. We have tanwin, and he's giving all this very good verse, because this verse has, nice choice of verses, because there's a lot of tanwins here. Okay, tanwin, tanwin. So just by looking at tanwin, what do we know? They are noun, ism. I have to stop saying noun, right? They are ism. Clear, guys? And then so he says, "Fakullun" mean all of these things are your nouns. So I'll just go quickly here. Why li wujudi tanween? Okay, because finding what? Uh, Somebody said wujud, because okay, I think you got confused. Yeah, this is now I know why you said find, because wajada, wajada is to find, and waj is is face. No. Okay. Good. So this is our second alama, second sign. The third one is what? Third one is what? Third one is dukhulil alif wal lam. Okay, entering what? Alif and lam. Yu'abbiru anhuma. It is expressed by what? Like this, alif lam. Now here's, I want to point out something. Alif lam, when you add to any word, because remember, alif lam, this is one of particle, it needs to be connected, right? So you cannot have alif lam standing. So when you have alif lam in any word, Okay, this alif is what? We say alif, but this is what? This is hamzatul wasl. Okay, this is hamzatul wasl. It's very important that you understand. But as you can see here, is it hamzatul wasl here? The way he wrote it? Hmm? No. Why not? How do you know? Because you can clearly see the hamza. So this is hamzatul wasl or alif, depends on the context. But this can never be alif. It is always hamza. And not only hamza, it's hamzatul qata'. So this is a strong hamza. So you might be wondering if it's a mistake or not. Oh, actually, it's not a mistake. It's not erasing. Anyway, it's definitely not a mistake. So when you write in a word, then this is hamzatul wasl. But when you want to use that alif lam as a separate word, like you're saying here right now, that we add alif lam, you're using as a separate word, because remember, you cannot, you understand, and that time they use with what, with hamza tul qata, the strong hamza. Okay, so just make a note of this when you understand. And that's why, when, remember, when we're going through this bar, they're not writing like this, they're not giving a cuff like this, because this word, they cannot stand by themselves, it needs to be connected. So instead, what they're writing, the name of the letter. So when you write as an independent word, that's when you put strong hamza. So the third sign is that when you add alif and lam, and then he gives an example, ar-Rahman, what? Ar-Rahmanu ala al-arshi stawa. Okay, this is a verse, ar-Rahmanu ala al-arshi stawa. So how do we know this one is noun? I don't see any kasra here, and I definitely don't see tanween. So how do we know? Because we have alif lam. Okay, and here, how many signs we have? Alhamdulillah, this one has two signs. There's two signs, this is a ism, because you have alif lam and you have kasra. Good so far? No. And the last one we have arabi'. Arabi' is what? Huruful khaf, huruful jar, right? Huruful jar, which is preposition. And then it lists all of them. We went through them, right? So he says, فهذه الحروف خاصة بالاسم بالأسماء. So these letters, or these particles, I should say, these particles are khasa, special, specific. You can think of specifically for what? For nouns. Ism. Asma is the plural of ism. فلا تدخل إلا عليها. It says it doesn't uh, come except for ism. Again, guys, I'm just saying it just because I'm saying it. This statement would not be a true in according to Alfia and other, because this alif lam can come in a verb. It's very peculiar things, but I'm just trying to give you some of the ideas about difference between studying this kind of books and the other books. That's why we are saying that Ajrumiyyah is sufficient for us for our purpose. But if you're going into a little bit more in details and you want to read some of the classical books and especially poetry, you will see that alif lam has another role. It uses alif lam in different ways, and that time it can come upon a verb also. So you can remove what I said right now, but I'm just mentioning so that your mind is a little bit open in the beginning, okay? But for our purpose, you see alif lam, guys, this is a noun. Okay, you see alif lam, it's your noun. For example, Prophet ﷺ said, what? Takufu, takufu sharraka anin nas. Nice advice. فإنها صدقة minka, minka what? Minka ala nafsika. So it's a fakka. Tafukku, it means to you know uh, get out, like to remove something, to detach something. You have something together, you detach. Fakka yafukku, it means to detach. So get rid of, you can think of something like that. Shar is evil, right? So it's as saying to remove your evil about people. So the whatever evil you have, you should remove them. فَإِنَّهَا, verily it is sadaqatun, it is a charity from you, minka, ala, who you are giving charity, nafsika. So just by doing this, you are giving a charity to yourself. So this is very profound statement. So what he's showing is what he's showing jar. So what is an? So we have an. Okay, if you have an, because guys, sometimes you will see that you don't have when they write, they will not write any haraka. They will just write like this. They will write just like that. When you write, even when you start writing, you will not write haraka all the time, because there's no need to. When I write, when all the books that I read, there's no haraka. It's nothing. So right now, how would you know this is a noun? This one is noun, huh? How would you know? You have, oh well, this one has alif lam, subhanallah. That's good. Let's just make something changes. I'm gonna remove alif lam for you. It doesn't matter whatever the context is. How would you know this is a noun or not? Well, I definitely removed the alif lam. So right now you don't know anything. So how do you know? You guys are still saying kasra, but because here I'm saying that yes, good. But the point is we have harful jar. So that's what this, I want you to understand what the fourth one is saying. You guys, looks like you guys understood the first three. The fourth one is saying if it has harful jar, if it precedes harful jar, okay, any preposition, then this is because you know that inshallah we'll learn some word cannot take any haraka. It could be mabni or it can be mamnu min as-sarf. You will see that they cannot take kasra. But then how do you know? Because it has a preposition. They're saying is what, that where are we? Yeah, here they're saying is that a preposition will never come anything other than what? Other than noun. Okay, there's again, there are some exceptions, but that is true by and large. So you won't have a preposition before a verb. So if you have a preposition, the what comes after the preposition, you have to assume that is a noun. Make sense, guys? Guys. Don't give up yet. If it's too much, don't give up. If you think it's too easy, you know, just uh, just wait. Inshallah, you will have your fun. Now, anything else he's saying here? No. So good. So we read all of these things here, but only thing I wanted to do before I wrap up, because inshallah tomorrow, next time we will cover the verbs and the harfs, because verbs is a little bit interesting and weird. We have to talk a little bit more about that. I want to read from the other shar, because I think the other shar, just a little bit, not everything, of course, we went through all of them. This is from the Muhammad Muhyiddin. Okay, just give you an example how different authors are explaining different things based on what is their target. So the other book, the Mumta, their target is exactly very simple beginner explanation. That's why we're using it, so we can read more of it, but it's extremely beginner. But the Muhammad Muhyiddin, he's not trying to make it for beginner, and he's definitely not trying to make it for advanced student. His explanation book, remember what I said, his explanation will bring Ajrumiyyah into intermediate level, because some of the explanation that he does. So here, I will just read a little bit from what the Tanwin. It says Tanwin fahuwa fil lugha. See, he always likes to give any technical word its definition from two perspectives. First he will explain from the linguistic, and then he will explain from the the technical definition. So what is the linguistic? It is tasweet. Tasweet is to make sound. So when we say tanwin, what does tanwin mean in language? Like, is it just brand new word just for the grammar? No. Tanwin is I think I should explain a few little bit more things about tanween before we wrap up, because this is the only thing I want to spend a little bit more time. So linguistically, tanween means what? It says the sweet, to make a sound. For example, you can say nawana at-ta'iru. So the bird is making sound. So nawana is the same thing as is a tanween. You guys are probably wondering where's the tanween. It's nawana is the tanween. This is the verb. The verbal noun of a nawana is tanween. Okay, so this is the linguistic definition. What is istalah? This is another word, guys. Please memorize. This word will come uh, all the time. Technical, uh, terminological. So this is like a technical definition. So when it's istalah, it is what is the istalah? What is the technical? What does it mean in this context? Okay, so the linguistic context is what? It is a sound, and technical context is what? It says, look, nunun sakina. So it is a nun sakina. What is nun sakina? Nun sakina is, this is your nun sakina. You have a nun and you have sukun on the top. تتبع آخر الاسم لفظا. It follows, or it's, you can think of like this. Yeah, you can say it follows at the end of a noun ism lafdhan. What does love means here? What do you think? We studied this word a lot. How would you translate this one? It's saying the nun sakina that follows end of isim. Yes, utterance, utter. Yes. Here, love is this is using as an adverb. It follows what? By sound, by utterance. What does it mean? وتفارقه خطا للاستغناء عنها. Okay, so this is a little bit hard word. Basically, it's saying it is meaning, basically it's saying that it is love and you don't write it. You don't do write. Khat here means writing. You know, khat means line, but you know, it means write. Khat is also handwriting, by the way. So for example, if you say, you know, this is a nice handwriting. So they will say, هذا الخط جميل. خطك جميل. Your handwriting is very good. So khat also handwriting, okay? So this word is also good, but has many different meanings. It's saying that it is enough, istaghna, that means we don't have to write it. So you will understand what he's meaning, because he right now all of a sudden you see once he start to explain a little bit more in details, a lot of explanation has to come. So what is tanween? We have baitun. When you say baitun, guys, baitun, this equals to what? Baitun. Here is your nun sakina. You see that nun sakina? That is the nun sakina he's talking about. And he's saying that we use this nun sakina lafdhan, by pronunciation. But we don't write it because it's enough for us to use that tanween. We don't have to write, because imagine every time, how many times, you know, most of the noun has tanween anyway. So if we keep on adding this nun sakina, it's going to be difficult. That's what they used to do in the before. You know, before that's how they used to write. And then later, you know, they change it into this tanween form. And that's why in Arabic language, especially in the Quran, when you say, I don't have the Quran context right now, but if I write something like this, I just want to give you Hamzat al-Wasl, that's all. And context is not coming here. I'm just going to make up a word here. I don't know what context, but in Quran it comes often now. Is whatever it is, guys. What I'm trying to show you is, now you want to read this one together. Baitun, then you have Hamzatul Wasl. What are you gonna do? Are you going to say baitus takhraj? Who knows how to read this one? How are you going to read this? This is your tajweed. If you don't know, you're making a lot of, yes, baituni. Very nice. So where do you get noon from? Because the tanween is the noon. So now this is the math you have to do in your mind, but they write it down in the mushaf. So that's good. In the math, what you have to do, you have to extract here. You have to get the noon out first of all. So you have by tune. So by tune, that's what we have. Then we have hamzatul wasl, whatever it is. I'm not worried about that. Now, but we have noon sakina and you have noon sakina, meaning you have two sukun. So when you have two sukun, we have a problem. In Arabic language, we cannot have two sukuns. So what do you have to do? The noon, the kasra is coming. That's why I'm telling you why the kasra is coming. Actually, it's by tun with the sukun, but the kasra is coming because you have a hamzatul wasal, which has what? Because you have a sukun here. Hamzatul wasal. Actually, the sukun is on the scene. Hamzatul wasal. When you have this kind of situation, you have two sukuns side by side. In Arabic language, we cannot have this situation. That's why you have to put a kasra. Okay, so brother is right. You have to put a kasra here, but now you know a little bit why you do this. So this is what your tanween is. Tanween is basically you have a nun sakin. Just like anytime you have uh, you have man, uh, you have man, right? But you have man is a sukun, but you say whatever again, whatever the context is. You have a bite with alif lam. What are you gonna do? You cannot pronounce because you have a two sukun, so you have to put kasra. Manil bait. Okay. So anyway, this was a little bit tangent, but I think it's very important for you to know about what the tanween is, and that is the explanation that Muhammad Muhyiddin is giving us. Clear, guys? One more thing I just wanted to read about, because what he did, he kind of gave us a nice explanation, not explanation like actually not that important, but let's see, because we have 5-10 minutes, I just want to go through this one. He gave us some of the meaning of this harf. Oh, no, I can skip this. I have to talk to you about what huruful qasam. This one I have to talk to you about. So this next 10 minutes is important. So we have, what did we say about huruful qasam? Is that there are three huruful qasam, right? One of them is waw, another one is ba, b, wa, b, and ta. So what are the difference? Is there any difference, and how do we use them? Number one, just like harful jar, huruful qasam also makes the noun after majrur. So that means you will always have a kasra after huruful qasam. So for example, if I say Allahu, what does this wa mean here? Because what is wa mean? A little bit thinking process going on. We already know you guys are getting, okay, we already know what wa means. Wa has two meanings. It could be either and it could be a swear. So we have two options. How do we know which one? What does it mean? Huruful qasam, if it comes for swearing or taking an oath, then what's gonna happen, guys? What's gonna happen to this word? It will become majrur. It will get a kasra. You guys with me? So when we say when we swear by Allah, we cannot say wallahu. We cannot say wallaha. We have to say what? Wallahi. Is it clear? So, but if we have, so that means if you see something's written as wallahi, this would be what? This would be that you are making a swear. You're making a word. But if you see something like wallahu, then what does this wa mean? Yes, then the wa would be and. Exactly. So this is something that inshallah you have to, and that's why he's putting all of these harful jar and huruful qasam in one category, because why? All of them, both harful jar and both huruful qasam, they will make the noun after that what? They will make noun after that majrur, meaning kasra. And do you think you understand this part is clear? This is important issue. So for example, And by the way, you have to know some etiquette on making a qasam. We are not allowed to make qasam of anything other than Allah or His names and attributes. Okay, Allah can make qasam of whatever He wants. Okay, but we are not allowed to make qasam. جيد. So this part, I think I should have make this one a little bit more clear. So when you have huruf al-qasam, we have three of them, wa, bi, and ta. They will make the one thing that you're making qasam with. Inshallah, this topic might come. I think it will come because they have a different parts, a very good discussion. They will make the noun that you're making the qasam with into majrur, meaning you have to put a put a kasra. And that's why Allah said, watini was zaytuni. You see, so it's always going to be kasra. Was shamsi. It's not going to be was shamsu. If it was shamsu, then Allah is saying and the sun. But if Allah is saying was shamsi, then Allah is making a oath by the sun. Make sense? Now, quickly, so what is the difference? The difference here, let's read what he's saying. The difference, the first one is wow, وهي تدخل وهي لا تدخل إلا على الاسم الظاهر. So that means it does not enter, it doesn't come other than what? Other than a clear noun. Meaning a noun that is clear noun here basically means a noun. Noun as we understand English language perspective. Here, the ism here means noun. Meanings what? Is pronoun a noun? No, it has to be a noun. Somebody's name, a noun. Okay, so for example, wallahi. Okay, we say what? See, waturi, wal kitabin. Okay, so we have a kasra here. Watini. Okay, wazaituni. So these are noun. So wow cannot come other than noun. So when you use the wow qasam, it has to be a clear noun. Inshallah, please memorize this rule. Wow, you need a clear noun. What does it compare with? Compare with ba. Ba la takhussu bi lafdhin duna lafd. Okay, so basically it's saying that bal tadkhulu ala ism dhahira. So it can enter the ba you can have on what? Normal noun like billahi, you can say billahi wa ala dhamir, or it can come in the pronoun. So you can say bika. Here bika means by you. You understand? But you cannot do that one with wow. You cannot say waka. It's not gonna work. Wa only comes in actual noun, and ba can come in actual noun, just like he gave an example. Billahi, it can also come in pronoun. So this is a main difference between the two. And what is the ta? Ta is very easy. Ta never comes anything other than the word, other than Allah or His attributes. Okay? لا تدخل إلا على لفظ إلا على لفظ الجلالة, because this dha and this ja together is hard to pronounce. You understand? So now quickly, wow only on noun. Right now I'm writing English so that I'm talking about English noun, okay? And B is noun plus pronoun, okay? And then ta, yes, ta is only for Allah. Only for Allah, or you can use His, I think you can also use His attributes. To be a safe side, I have to double check you. I'm pretty sure you can use it with His attributes, but just to be in double, I'm pretty sure you can. But here he just mentioned the word Allah. Okay, so ta, it doesn't come anything other than Allah. But all three of them, what's gonna do? It's going to make the word after that is majrur, is kasra. Is it clear, guys? Simple stuffs, but it can, this kind of class, we have to dwell and make sure we understand the concept, because as you see, if you are not keeping up with this concept, we will be moving forward, and some of these things later part we just have to assume that you already understand. We're going to be using some of the words, you have to know what we mean. Okay, so alhamdulillah, at least today we did more than one line. That's good. So alhamdulillah, I was hoping that I would be able to finish this part, and I was able to. So I think that's good. Then when we start Babul Arab, guys, this is a beast. Here, he divided this Babul Arab, and then he says, Babul Ma'rifa wa Alamat Arab. These are all same, guys. Don't think this is this part. I think it starts from here. Let's see how far it goes. Subhanallah. And here's one thing this book does. We have to do a little bit something different about this book. The book then, after he explains the whole Arab, and then he makes another section, Mu'rabat, meaning same thing. Arab and Mu'rab is the same thing, but now he will tell you everything that he mentioned in different way. So this is definitely redundant from as far as I can think of. So this part, inshallah, don't worry, we will just brush through them. Another issue that we will be having with the way, okay, I'm going to clearly tell you, this book, I like a lot of things about this book, and I don't like a lot of things about this book. But as I said, whether it's me or any other very, very good scholar, sometimes we don't have a choice other than to teach this book, because everybody wants you to know these books, and this alhamdulillah book is very, overall book is very good. One of the issue that I have is the way he explained the mu'arabat, like Arab. A lot of redundancy, a lot of different ways. It's really not good to teach. Actually, it's something that if you know that, it's very nice. But I will probably follow either Qatr Nada, the way that he explains, Ibn Hisham, excellent, excellent. And the same thing also, what do you call it, the Alfi ibn Malik. He also went kind of similar. Inshallah, when time comes, I'm gonna explain what he did and what we're gonna be doing, because otherwise, this, if we go the way he's going, it's gonna drag months and months and months, because he repeats himself quite often in this regard. Okay,